We have had some technical problems.
Krenak, I just have to jump in. And you've been predicting this. We've been waiting for it. And we do have some breaking news from the decision desk. NBC News can now project that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president. And for so many of you watching right now, that news is, to say the least, a lot to digest.
That is a lot to digest. It's a ton. So let's talk about it. There's a lot of people in my general sphere who are worried, sad, anxious, and confused. Senior citizens in my life are worried about their retirement benefits like Social Security and Medicare. People in my life living in poverty are worried about Medicaid and SNAP. LGBTQ plus people in my life are worried about the statuses of their marriages and being targets of violence and harassment. Women in my life are worried about getting pregnant and having something go wrong and then not be able to get the care they need to save their lives. Palestinian people in my life are worried because now the president-elect may now empower more far-right factions in Israel to bomb their homes, to bomb their families, to bomb their schools into oblivion. Teachers in my life are worried because their jobs and education are in jeopardy because school bond issues failed all over the state of Ohio and beyond. There are people in my life who are married to an immigrant and are waiting for green card status or naturalization status to stay in America, and they're worried that someone's going to revoke whatever fragile status they have and take them away. All of those feelings, if that is you, are valid. So let yourself feel them. But don't allow yourself to be paralyzed by them, and don't let those feelings let you fall into cynicism. There are so many people who are unaffected by the outcome of this election that might say, man, that all seems so bleak and dark. Those who voted for the winner of this election, you might be left wondering, why are you stupid liberals such sore losers? So let's talk about it. Here is what you're not going to hear. You're not going to hear someone say, wow, there's a lot of irregularities in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona. If only Georgia could find 11,000 more votes for our candidate, maybe we'll win. I would like to stop the process and have a conversation so we can figure out what the hell is going on. What you're not going to hear is calls for Kamala Harris to have the courage to do the right thing and not certify the election. And what you're not going to see is a known leader of a racist group that the former president couldn't bring himself to condemn using a police shield to break a window into the Capitol. You're not going to see these things because those who didn't vote for the president-elect are not sore losers. Sure, you'll hear talking heads pontificate on the state of the Democratic Party. You're going to hear Republican media doing victory laps. I'm doing neither of those things. I want to share with you what I'm worried about. I'm worried because people like Ken Jaworski of Lakewood, Ohio, posted in a community group on Facebook that, quote, hunting season on illegals starts on January 20th, 2025. Don't be hiding any in your basement. It won't go well. I'm worried because far-right internet trolls like Nick Fuentes, here's an example, the day after the election.
The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over.
These types of people are no longer scared to say the stuff hidden behind a mask. They can say the stuff on the internet because guess what? No one's there to punch them in the face for saying it. I grew up in a time where if you said some crazy stuff like this, you better have the goods to back it up because you're going to get knocked out. Those days are gone, right? They're in plain sight now. I'm worried because laws don't apply to anybody anymore. And here's an example. The current president-elect is a convicted felon on 34 counts of election finance fraud. The president-elect has been found civilly responsible for sexual assault and then sued by his victim for defamation against her because, well, he defamed her. The president-elect was asked by the National Archives to turn over classified documents that they knew he took as souvenirs. And then when he didn't comply with the law for over a year, our Department of Justice had to go obtain a search warrant to go collect them from a bathroom in a private club. The president-elect mocked disabled reporters and people. He called the media fake news if they dared question any position he said, and he refused to concede an election that he lost. The president-elect called veterans who died for their country losers and suckers. The president-elect has promised to rescind federal policies that prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, and will assert the federal civil rights laws don't apply to anti-LGBTQ discrimination, which would put housing, employment, education, healthcare, and a range of federal programs out of the reach of many in that community. The president-elect put 3 conservative members on the Supreme Court, which cast the deciding votes on overturning 50 years of established law of a woman's right to choose, which, by the way, all of those Supreme Court justices said in their confirmation hearings that Roe versus Wade was established law. Now I'm worried because what other established laws decided by the Supreme Court are now in jeopardy? The Obergefell decision? Is there more? None of the reasons stated above were deal breakers for 71 million plus people in the party of law and order. See, I won't let politics get in the way of a relationship with me. We can disagree on political positions all day long. Your opinion on how to fix the economy can differ from mine, for sure. But differences in morality and decency are things that I cannot agree on. And by using my example in politics, let's talk about the economy. I can assure you the economy didn't fail by acknowledging that black people were harmed by our country. I can assure you the economy didn't fail because we gave space for gay people to get married and women to have access to abortion and trans kids that deserve a place to learn. We got into this mess because we allowed the largest wealth transfer in history away from the lower and middle class and into the hands of a few gold hoarding dragons. We've allowed our elected leaders to deregulate the guardrails that built the largest middle class in history by keeping large, greedy corporations from exploiting us. Campaign finance laws have eroded to the point that unlimited amounts of money can pour into political campaigns and trickle into things that would benefit us all. We've allowed the privatization of public interests. These hoarders of wealth have gotten most of our politicians to stop caring about the minimum wage and have gotten us to the point where they haven't even updated the federal government poverty guidelines since 1969. These hoarders of wealth have used our government to try and break the backs of unions that are designed to give voice to the working class and keep the powers that be in check. Why do rich people pour money into political campaigns? Because they get a return on their investment. Mike Acosta, who works for The Daily Show, repeated an Ernest Hemingway quote from his book, The Sun Also Rises. How did you go bankrupt? Well, in 2 ways. Gradually, then suddenly. We've let our democracy slip away gradually to just a few people. We've allowed these rich few to determine the lives of all of us. If we allow that, my friends, we don't live in a democracy anymore. We live in an oligarchy. Right now, we're all imagining what would happen if all the promises made by this new administration do come true. So let's allow ourselves to unpack all of our feelings. Let's go for a walk. Let's hydrate ourselves. And we're going to wake up on Monday morning where the sun will still rise. But there is no doubt that we all might be scared for what the future holds. In the words of Elise Myers, then let's just do it scared. So please, drink your water, get some sleep. We'll talk again soon.